I'm at my parents' house and I just finished installing the new Nest Thermostat. Now, when we installed it, in the settings it is recommending that we add a C-wire. Here it says the thermostat will work with your system, but we recommend adding a C-wire to avoid potential power issues in the future. Now, when installing the Nest Thermostat at my house, I saw a little bit different message, but it actually limited some features until I added a C-wire. So if you have the new Nest Thermostat or the Nest Thermostat E or the 3rd Gen Nest Learning Thermostat, you might see this error or notice. Well, I previously showed you how you can completely add a new thermostat wire and add that C-wire, but I understand in many homes that is very complicated to do. So Google has actually come out with a way in which you can add a C-wire without actually adding a C-wire, and that is through the Nest Power Connector. So this just came out from Google. I'll leave a link in the description below, but this is able to provide enough power to the thermostat without actually adding a C-wire. For this to work on your system, you do need the compatible thermostat, and this only works on 24 HVAC systems. It will not work on millivolt or high voltage systems. So here we have some instructions, and we have the Nest Power Connector, and here at the bottom we have 2 wire connectors that we will use. And here are the steps we need to get this installed. It also comes with a sticky pad to mount the Nest Power Connector, as well as some wire labels to help you get this wired correctly. Now here it also mentions the different ways in which you can wire this. Here you have the cooling and heating system. Here you have the heating system, or if you're just using cooling, here is the wiring. Now, if you don't have a C terminal on your thermostat, you will need to hire a pro to get this installed. So our first step is to turn off the thermostat at the breaker. Now we need to remove the equipment cover and find the control board. All right, so here we have our thermostat wire. We have the green wire that's attached to the G, then it skips the C, then we have the white that's attached to the W, the blue is attached to the Y, and the red is attached to the R. So now we need to use the power connector to connect to the C wire. Make sure you take a picture before you touch anything so that you can revert back if you do need to. First thing I'm going to do is use the provided labels and label the wires. And here on the Nest Power Connector, you can see the letters very faint. I'll put them in bold so you can see them a bit better. So first I took the R cable on the power connector, put it into a wire connector, and then I'm taking the R from the circuit board and putting it in the wire connector. Next, I'm going to take the Y cord from the circuit board, put it in a wire connector that connects to the first WY on the Nest Power Connector. Next, I'm going to take the C cable and add it to the circuit board. Now there is already a wire there, so make sure that wire stays if you have that. Next, I'm going to take the R from the Nest Power Connector and add it to the R on the circuit board. And last, I'm going to take this WY on the Nest Power Connector and I'm going to add it into the Y on the circuit board. So here you can see is the final result of my wiring. Your wiring most likely will be different color, but the setup should be the same. Now there is an additional C and Y wire, so make sure you keep any wires that were already there in the same place. And it's time to put it all back together. But wait, we forgot a step. Double check your wiring. At first, I did not double check my wiring, and I had the heating cable connected to the cooling cable as well. And so it ended up heating up my parents' house to 84 degrees. So I came back that night, fixed the wiring, and then everything was good. So just remember, double check your wiring, make sure everything looks good before you put it all back together. Now that we have the Nest Power Connector installed, let's double check that everything is working properly here in the Nest Thermostat settings. To make sure everything works on the Nest Thermostat, we just need to tap and go into the settings. Then scrolling down, let's go to equipment. First, let's check the wiring info. So as you can see here, it didn't add the C wire, but it does recognize that the power connector has been added. So let's go into the power connector settings. You can do a power test. If you are using the Nest Thermostat E or the 3rd Gen Nest Thermostat, there is no need to check this setting. It will automatically be enabled. And here are the results, which I don't understand, but you can also do a power status. And here it says the Nest Power Connector has been detected, which is what we were going for. And as you can see, now it is cooling, and cooling for real this time. So back in the Google Home app, we're going to select thermostat, and then here we're going to select settings, and we just need to tap thermostat, and down here under equipment, we no longer see that it says, hey, you need to add a C wire. So everything is working properly. And so that is how you can easily fix the error of adding a C wire without actually adding that C wire. I think this solution is very simple and it doesn't cost too much. You're gonna spend a lot more time and money on a thermostat wire and wiring that C wire than just picking up the power connector if you have any Nest devices. If you do wanna wire your own C wire, you can check out the video over here how to do that. And if you wanna learn more about the Nest thermostat, check out the video right here. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.